Hello, hello. Great to see you. Thanks everybody for being here. Always a pleasure to take a step into the metaverse.
Fantastic. Well, over to you. We're excited to hear what you have to share with us.
Wonderful. Yeah, first things first, thanks to Filecoin and LongHash and for everyone for being here. My name is David Snyder. I'm one of the co-founders at Lit Protocol, which is a decentralized composability network. And what we're going to cover today is first, what is Lit Protocol and the architecture? Talk about a few use cases of this, look at a demo, and then kind of cast forward into the direction that we're heading. So with that being said, we'll get underway. So Lit Protocol is an access control network. Functionally, what that means is it is a network of computers that is able to grant a blockchain user access to some off-chain resource, whether that's data on Filecoin or a live stream or a server, when that user meets certain conditions on chain. And so for a bit about the architecture, what the network is comprised of is a series of nodes, and these nodes individually will validate an on-chain credential, such as user owns NFT, or user is a member of a DAO, or their address is listed in an array within a smart contract. The nodes independently validate that and then create a decryption share or a key share that is sent down to the user who compiles them in the client. And what the user receives at the end of this process is either a symmetric encryption key to decrypt some content, or a JavaScript web token, which is just a normal web access token, to access some server. And we'll take a look at a couple examples here. But before we do, just a bit more detail. This is an open source modal that we call our share dialog. And so if you've ever used something like Google Drive or Dropbox, you'll be familiar with typing in somebody's email address to share. In our Web3 paradigm, the credential is no longer an email address, but rather it is some data that is on the blockchain, such as the user's wallet address, their token holdings, whether or not they're a member of a DAO. And you can see it can get sophisticated about how you want to set up access control for a given resource. And most importantly, with a network like this is the security and trust mitigation. So as mentioned, this is a decentralized network. We do have planned crypto economic incentives, staking and slashing associated with the network. Furthermore, the network does the entirety of their operations inside of a secure execution environment. And the network, using some sophisticated encryption and decentralized key generation, no party in the network ever has the key. As I mentioned in the first slide, there's no centralized key master here. This is really the network decentralized approach to access control. So with that introduction, let's talk about a couple examples, and we'll look at some apps. One use case that just went live this week was Lit Protocol powering the encrypted messages on Orbis, which is a Twitter-like client that is running entirely on decentralized web tech architecture. They're using Ceramic, and then they implemented Lit Protocol to handle the encryption of the direct messages, still stored on decentralized storage. Another example of Lit Protocol being used in decentralized applications is with Creaton. Creaton is a Patreon-like application that's built entirely on D-Web infrastructure. And the way that that system works is that a creator uploads some private content, the same way that would on something like a Patreon. And then the fan can stream payments to that creator via Superfluid. And then the way this application works is they are using Lit Protocol to confirm, is the fan streaming payments? If so, let that fan decrypt that content. Where in this case, the on-chain credential, rather than being an NFT or owning an NFT, is streaming payments to a given creator via Superfluid. Lit Protocol is also live in metaverse apps that are more in the Web 2 category. For example, we've done an integration with GatherTown. As you can see in this top example, the player is not able to enter the space. And what is being checked is their token holdings, essentially their on-chain credentials. Whereas if they have the credential to pass into the room, they can enter, and in this case, do a little happy dance. Now we've gone ahead and integrated Lit protocol on our team and with our community into a variety of Web 2 platforms already, including being able to create token-gated content on WordPress, specific token-gated roles in Discord, being able to use NFTs as access to merch on Shopify-based e-commerce stores, token-gated on-demand video and live stream hosted by Cloudflare, token-gated and blockchain credential-gated Zoom meetings and webinars, as well as files stored on Google Drive, if somebody desires to use that other than decentralized storage. And additionally, as I mentioned earlier, we've also built some integrations between Lit protocol and Web3 networks, specifically Filecoin and Ceramic, which supplies as a network for dynamic data and data streams on top of Filecoin. So with that, I'll take a moment and show you a demo. So this site that I'm on right now, this is litgateway.com. This is where a lot of the applications and reference implementations are. And I'll go ahead and click into the IPFS app. And so in this example, I'm going to upload some content. And this content is encrypted client side. So on the machine, there's not a third party that's doing the encryption. And then that data key for that content is stored with a set of access control conditions that we looked at earlier. So for example, I could say somebody who owns 3 CryptoPunks can decrypt this, or somebody who's a member of this DAO can decrypt this. And Lit protocol manages that validation and provisioning of the key in a totally decentralized way. So with that in mind and what we're doing, we're extremely excited about access control. And as was reflected in kind of the earlier talk, we are quite early. One thing that we like to discuss on our team from time to time is how the internet metaphorically is a toddler, and how we arrived here. When human babies are about 8 months old, they develop something called object permanence. There's other animals out there that can do this as well. And this is the capacity to realize that something exists even when you can't see it. And so to extend this metaphor, the internet just achieved object permanence with the discovery and invention of Bitcoin quite recently. And our view is that the internet is growing up, and it is growing up in community with Web3 and with decentralization and encryption. And so what the future holds is a world of data sovereignty, decentralization, and coordination between individuals who are able to retain a level of power and digital ownership in this emerging new internet that we're all developing together. So that's Lit protocol. And as part of this, you can go to this website that you see here, so litgateway.com, and then click around and claim one of these launch NFTs. You also find our links to Twitter and Discord there. Thank you so much, and enjoy the rest of the presentations.